It's really important to be honored by my peers. What I love about Girl Up is that it consists of so many driven young women who have not only committed to being there for our global community, but really being there for one another, and that support network is so crucial. My platform responsibly in terms of, really more than anything, it just means being authentic, because I think that's when you speak to the most people, when I'm completely honest about, like, yes, sometimes life is crazy stressful and I completely get it, and sometimes you're on top of the world, and that I also completely understand. And I think what I appreciate more than anything about this concept of being a role model is that it's getting ever expansive, and if anything, like, I love the idea of, like, it's not about one person being the face of this generation by any means, because we're too vast and, like, intersectional to have one person represent any of us, and so I love the fact that I feel like I'm able to look to my peers on a regular basis, and everyone who has just decided to be a part of a socially engaged community have taken on the role of being a role model, and whether that's for one person, two people, three people, it doesn't matter, because it does make an impact. You know, I think going on the concept of role models, they're people that are literally representing us in Congress, and it's extremely important that they are truly reflective of our voice. And I think for our generation, what that means, at least in my mind, is keeping a sense of humanity when we proceed in policy. I think what my generation has done, and what 18 by 18 is trying to do, is connect the human aspect to these policies that we talk about, where it's more than an economic plan and it's more than an immigration plan, but there are lives and humans being affected. And so I think being able to elect people that are committed to us and committed to the population is not only what it should be, but it's important because I feel like it means that going forward there's so much at stake, so much that's being discussed, and having a House and Senate that actually looks like us and talks like, and not even talks like us, but is actually reflective of the young people will be extremely, like, important going into these big policy decisions.
And now that you are 18, how does it feel that you can be, like, you're able to vote?
It's so exciting. So I voted in California primaries.
Okay.
Most confusing thing ever, which is actually why we wanted 18 by 18 to begin with, because I was like, I'm somebody who reads the news every day, literally lives on NPR, like, and I'm still confused. Why are there 13 gubernatorial candidates? Like,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. And so 18 by 18, what's meant to do is really just kind of break that down, and whether we do it or point you to other platforms that are like, this will be helpful, is really to just make sure that we get rid of the fear of saying, like, if you make a decision not to vote, we just want to make sure that it's not because, oh, I just don't understand.
Right.
Because that's when it's even more important, because you should be able to understand what's happening in your government.
The second season of Grownish is set to premiere. What can we expect?
Zoe's in class, actually, I promise. Like, so not only does Zoe actually go to class, but what I love is that you hop into second season and every character has gone through their own little evolution, and I love the storylines of, like, okay, Zoe has her boo, and last season that was a big thing, but now it's kind of settled, and you have space to really have these intellectual conversations of what's happening on campus. We have really interesting conversations on what it means to be an intellectual and how that's defined, about gender boundaries, about sexuality, and I think, like, we just really keep going from where season 1 is and keep expanding.
And any celeb guests that we can expect?
I'm gonna keep it a surprise.
Okay, keep it a surprise.